morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told how to voice the radio. So today, somebody from Pokemon apparently decided to reveal, in my humble opinion, the best ancient Paradox Pokemon, a new card thereof, and the best future Paradox Pokemon, or indeed a card thereof. We've got Raging Bolt and I in Boulder, and I do feel confident calling these the best of the Paradox Pokemon. We've got single prize cards of them, and unless I'm being really dumb here, this is the first time we've ever had a single prize version of them, and this is kind of awesome. So let's start off with Raging Bolt, a very good card that could definitely see a bunch of play. Now, free energy 130, nobody cares. But we've got a Dragon Pokemon, 130 HP, no weakness, and we've got an attack for a Lightning and a Fighting Energy. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon, do 30 damage to it for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Now, if you want to go silly, you can put 11 Pokemon on here and do 330 damage anywhere you like. It's not terribly realistic, and it does allow you to hit the active. You just choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. However, this is for the bench. This is a way to reliably hit the bench for decent damage. And the fact of the matter is, like right now, Raging Bolt with Teal Mask Ogapon is a deck. It's a very good deck, incidentally. Seeing a bunch of play, still going to be good when we get to the Worlds format. And we have some energy acceleration therein. Now, it's not perfect, but we've got some energy acceleration. Professor Sada's Vitality, obviously very good. Although, annoyingly, it's not, well, it attaches one energy to each of two Pokemon. It doesn't attach both the energy to one, which you would really want here, obviously. And you've got the aforementioned Teal Mask Ogapon that attaches a grass energy. Well, you can attach an extra one to each Teal Mask Ogapon every turn while drawing a card, which is awesome. But then you're going to need, like, Energy Switch to activate it. And Energy Switch isn't a bad play, incidentally, but it will mean you'll need Energy Switch to move it over. And don't forget, we got that new Crispin card as well, which allows you to search your deck for two energy of different types, and one goes into your hand and one attaches to a Pokemon. So we have ways to accelerate energy on here. Realistically, it's going to be hard to do more than like 90 or 120 reliably with this, because the whole point of Raging Bolt EX is that you only need two on Raging Bolt. You discard the energy from anywhere, and then it's 70 for each energy discarded to the active. So when you play Professor Sada's Vitality, that's two energy that can be discarded. Your Ogapon can attach extra energy during the turn, and then they're just sitting there ready to be discarded. The fact that you have to get the energy onto Raging Bolt is a little bit annoying, I grant you. But to go back to the wording, it is each energy attached to this Pokemon. It doesn't matter what type, so you can go a little bit silly here with other kinds of energy acceleration, although there's no real deck it fits into beautifully here, although you can. But I like this as a one-off in Raging Bolt decks, because the fact of the matter is, like, if you're playing Raging Bolt decks anyway, you're going to be playing Lightning and Fighting Energy, minimum. You're going to have the correct energy to power this up. And this is both a single prize attacker, which is a good thing, and it can hit the bench, which is a good thing. If there's a weak Pokemon on your bench, free energy on here, you do 90, that'll get a lot of support and setup Pokemon. So this can really work. I adore this as a single prize attacker. I adore this as a way to hit the bench. And not for nothing, free energy 130 is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. And actually, there will be times where you use Professor Sada's Vitality, attach for turn Energy Switch, and all of a sudden you've got a decent single prize attacker. If your opponent's got a single prizer out there, you can take it out with this while not putting a two prizer in harm's way. I love this card. I'm giving it between 4 and 5 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I genuinely think this is a great single prize attacker. I am slightly worried that it's going to be awkward to get enough energy on that third energy that you really need, because you need to be hitting the bench for 90, not 60. That third energy is a little bit awkward because we've got supporter, attach for turn. Oh, that's kind of annoying. However, the fact that you can hit the bench, the fact that it's a single prizer, the fact that it doesn't have a weakness, the fact you can do enough to KO the majority of single prize Pokemon, all of this adds up to a card I really like. And I should mention, of course, this does work really nicely with Regidrago, because you can copy the attacks of Pokemon in your discard pile, and you will, Dragon Pokemon, of course, and you will have at least 3 energy on there, which does give you that 90 snipe you need. I still don't think it's great in Regidrago, because you can use Kyurem, which does 110 to 3 Pokemon, but then again, Kyurem does make you discard all energy attached to the Pokemon, which is a little bit annoying. So, just putting it out there as an option, this could be kind of good with Regidrago. But what about Iron Boulder? Because Raging Bolt EX might have been good. Iron Boulder EX, I mean, look, I was lucky enough to be able to reveal the full art, and I love me some Iron Boulder. It's my favourite future Paradox Pokémon. But the reality is, outside of some early play in future box decks, which really seems to have gone away now, this is not a card that's been good. So what about this single prizer? Is this one good? Yeah. Yeah, it's actually really good here. Because what we've got is 2 energy, 170 damage. If you don't have the same number of cards in hand as your opponent, this attack does nothing. That's not that difficult, ladies and gentlemen. That is not that difficult. And the fact of the matter is, now, let's take turn 1 out of it for a moment. If we ignore turn 1, then this is going to work brilliantly in Gardevoir decks. You accelerate a single energy, you've still got 110 HP and you're hitting 170 of a single prize Pokemon. Well, hitting 170 of a single prize Pokemon is massive. Absolutely massive. Gardevoir feels like it could use this quite nicely. And then we got Xatu. So you attach a second energy with Xatu, attach 1 energy from your hand, and then you're hitting big damage. 170. If you can match hand sizes with your opponent, that's a big if. Are we worried? Not really, honestly. We are not really worried at all. Like, Judge is still in the format. Now, admittedly, that does mean you need to get Iron Boulder up and rolling before playing your supporter for the turn. And then you just play Judge, guarantee 4, and you're off. But come on. I mean, especially when you're using stuff like Xatu, which has a built-in energy acceleration with draw power anyway. I think you can draw a bunch of cards and then basically end the turn on a Judge. And yes, I know it's going to be annoying, but we've got plenty of non-supporter draw. Bibarel still sees a bunch of play. And if your opponent's got like 5 cards in hand, just do what you want and then draw till you got 5 with Bibarel. Boom, done, sorted. If they've got 4, just hope you can play 1 card that you get from Bibarel, and then boom, sorted. I don't think matching hand size is going to be that difficult. You will fail sometimes, don't get me wrong, but because we've got stuff like Judge, obviously Iono won't always work. When no one's taking a prize, I'll put you both to 6, which is lovely, but again, if you've got 1 more prize remaining than your opponent, play an Iono, hope you can play a single card from it, and you're going to be off and rolling. No, it's not going to be perfect. But again, if you're using stuff like Bibarel, if you're using stuff like Xatu, for instance, well, you can kind of, if you got 2 or 3 Xatu out, you can kind of manipulate how many cards you're going to be drawing here. Like, if your opponent's got 5 cards and you've got 3, attach an energy, go down to 2, up to 4, and then with your seconds are to attach an energy, go down to 3, up to 5. Oh, look. Now I've matched hand sizes with my opponent, and I'm good to go. But what about turn 1? Because if you can get that second energy on and match hand sizes, which I know is not the easiest thing to do, 170 damage. Turn 1 going second. Now, if you go first, your opponent gets a single turn, and then you've just got 2 manual attachments, 1 turn 1, 1 turn 2, and as long as you can match hand sizes, you're hitting 170 immediately. Going first, I think the chances of a first attack with this are incredibly strong. Going second is going to be a little bit more awkward. Because let's face it, like, you can play this, and this will fit really nicely with a lot of the Future Box decks we're already playing, because you're playing Iron Crown, which uses Psychic Energy, and you're using Miraidon, which uses Psychic Energy, and a lot of decks will literally just play one, just to give the option of one of those attacks, but you can play like an extra Psychic Energy or whatever, and have this as a legitimate option. But the problem is, you're probably going to be using Miraidon for peak acceleration early in the game, and having this as an option later. Yes, you absolutely can use Reboot Pod, another card I actually got to reveal, which was fun. But do you want to use your A-Spec turn 1 just to get this attack off? If your opponent's got a single Pokemon with 170 HP or less in the active, oh my word, yes you do. But I'm just thinking this is, although it's possible to get this rolling turn 1 going second, it's really not that likely. Like, you can use Electric Generator, which we're obviously going to be playing as a 4 of anyway, and then maybe combine that with Energy Switch as well, but then you're just getting into awkward combos, which I'm just not a particularly big fan of. I see basic Pokemon 2 Energy 170, and I really, really want this to be a turn 1 option. I don't think it's a great turn 1 option. But I think in Future Box decks, it's great. I think in Gardevoir decks, it's potentially great. I think in Xatu decks, it's phenomenal. I don't think you're going to have to try that hard to match hand sizes. Remember, it will fail if you don't match hand sizes. And then you got a single Pokemon with 140 HP hitting for 170, and you're not putting many resources into it. And I should be clear here, like, I've spent the whole analysis portion here talking about 170, because 170 is a good amount of damage. But actually, it's rarely going to be 170. Because Iron Crown lets you do an extra 20. And because Future Boost Energy Capsule lets you do an extra 20. And actually, a lot of the time, you're actually going to be hitting 230. I'm assuming 2 Iron Crown and a Future Boost, or 3 Iron Crown, an extra 60, which is really not that difficult. And 230 will get Pokemon Vs and basic Pokemon EXs. And at that point, oh, we are rolling, ladies and gentlemen. We are rolling. So yeah, I've been talking about 170 as we go, but to be clear, you can get up to 230 pretty easily, and that's a big deal. I think this card is great. I'm giving it 5 Wassies. I don't even care. I'm definitely biased, and I don't even care. The stats work. We've got plenty of ways to get the energy on there, and it's got 140 HP and does 170 for 2 energy as a basic Pokemon, when we're really not trying that hard to get the energy on there. I can already see 3 decks where this fits quite nicely, and maybe it'll never see play, but I love it. I like it more than Raging Bolt, and I really like this new Raging Bolt. But I've told you how much I like these 2 new cards, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about them, tell me how excited you are, go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely William Shaw, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.